My brothers and sisters, have you ever wondered what really happens when you go back to sleep after Fajr? Many of us don't realize that these early hours are not ordinary. They are filled with barakah, blessings and opportunities that can change your entire day, even your entire life. The Prophet Muhammad prayed for blessings in the mornings of his ummah. Yet today, millions of us waste this precious time under the blanket, unaware of the hidden loss we are falling into. In this reminder, we'll uncover the shocking truth about sleeping after Fajr, the spiritual, physical, and emotional effects, and why the early hours carry wisdom that most people ignore. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will never look at your mornings the same way again. The early hours of the morning hold a special status in Islam. The Prophet Muhammad gave clear guidance about how a believer should spend the time immediately after Fajr. Rather than returning to sleep, he emphasized utilizing these hours for worship, reflection, and productivity. These teachings form the foundation of what is often called Barakah time, a period filled with blessings that shape the entire day. One of the Prophet's well-known supplications was, "O Allah, bless my nation in their mornings." This dua is a direct indication that the morning carries a unique blessing from Allah and that Muslims should strive to begin their work, prayers, pursuits during this period. The companions of the Prophet acted upon this guidance. Historical reports mention that many of them would begin their trade, work, or travel shortly after Fajr, believing firmly that their success and rizq were tied to this blessed time. Moreover, the Prophet would remain seated after Fajr prayer until sunrise, engaging in dhikr and remembrance of Allah. This practice highlights two important lessons: the value of staying awake after Fajr and the importance of filling that time with acts of worship. By following this sunnah, a believer not only earns spiritual reward, but also starts the day with a peaceful and clear mind. Scholars explain that sleeping right after Fajr can result in missing out on these blessings. It can cause laziness, a lack of productivity, and a weakening of spiritual zeal. That is why Islamic tradition discourages habitual sleep after Fajr unless there is a genuine need, such as extreme tiredness or illness. The wisdom here is simple: mornings are meant for activity, reflection, and growth, not for wasting precious hours. In today's modern context, the guidance of the Prophet is more relevant than ever. Many people complain of a lack of time, stress, or unproductiveness. Yet, when they adopt the sunnah of utilizing post-Fajr hours, they discover a hidden treasure. Whether it's through reciting Qur'an, making dua, working on personal goals, or planning the day ahead, this time becomes a source of clarity and energy. Ultimately, the prophetic guidance on post-Fajr hours teaches us that success begins with discipline. The way a believer spends the first hours after Fajr often determines the quality of the rest of the day. By holding firmly to the sunnah, we can transform mornings into a time of spiritual strength, personal growth, and divine blessings. While Islam does not forbid resting after Fajr, the teachings of the Prophet and the wisdom of scholars highlight that habitual sleep at this time often results in a loss, both worldly and spiritual. The hours immediately after Fajr are blessed, filled with opportunities for productivity, remembrance of Allah, and starting the day with clarity. Oversleeping during this time may seem harmless, but in reality, it deprives a person of immense blessings. One of the main hidden losses of sleeping after Fajr is missing out on Barakah, divine blessings. The Prophet prayed for his ummah to be blessed in the mornings. This means that those who utilize this time effectively through work, worship, or reflection will see Allah's help and success in their day. However, those who return to sleep waste the very period that carries these special blessings. As a result, they may struggle with laziness, lack of energy, or unproductiveness throughout the day. Another hidden loss lies in the disconnection from spirituality. The time after Fajr is unique because it is calm, quiet, and free from distractions. It is the perfect opportunity for dhikr, Qur'an recitation, and dua. Angels witness the worship done at this hour, and Allah showers His mercy upon those who remember Him. Sleeping through this time means missing a golden chance to strengthen one's heart and soul. Over time, this can lead to spiritual emptiness and distance from Allah. From a worldly perspective, oversleeping after Fajr also affects productivity and rizq sustenance. Many successful individuals, both in Islamic history and even in modern times, attribute their achievements to waking up early and utilizing their mornings. Sleeping after Fajr often delays the start of the day, leading to missed opportunities, poor time management, and reduced motivation. The believer may feel constantly short of time, unaware that the real loss began with sleeping through the most blessed hours. There is also a psychological and emotional loss. Studies even confirm that early morning sunlight regulates mood, improves focus, and stabilizes mental health. Missing out on this natural blessing by sleeping after Fajr can leave a person feeling dull, irritable, or unmotivated. Islam, being a complete way of life, already emphasized these benefits 400 years ago through the Prophet's practice of staying awake after Fajr until sunrise. That said, Islam is a religion of balance. Someone is extremely tired from working late at night or due to illness, resting after Fajr is not sinful. The problem lies in making it a regular habit where one continually ignores the blessings of this time. Scholars advise that even if one needs to rest, they should try to engage in some worship or useful activity before lying down again. In short, the hidden loss of sleeping after Fajr is not just about missed hours of the day. It is about missed opportunities for spiritual elevation, lost barakah in sustenance, and a weakened sense of discipline. A believer who values these hours finds their life transformed, while one who wastes them feels the loss in both dunya and akhirah. The hours immediately after Fajr are among the most spiritually powerful times of the day. While many people may see this period as a chance to return to sleep, the Prophet and the early generations of Muslims viewed it as a sacred window of opportunity. Staying awake after Fajr brings countless spiritual benefits that strengthen faith, purify the heart, increase closeness to Allah. One of the greatest spiritual benefits is the increase in remembrance of Allah's dhikr. The Prophet himself used to remain seated after the Fajr prayer, remembering Allah until sunrise. This was not just a personal habit, but a sunnah that carries immense reward. Engaging in dhikr at this time fills the heart with light and shields it from heedlessness. The Qur'an describes how hearts find peace in the remembrance of Allah, and what better time to achieve this than in the calm and quiet of early morning. Another benefit is the opportunity for Qur'an recitation. Allah says in the Qur'an, indeed, the recitation of the Qur'an at dawn is ever witnessed. So Surah Al-Isra 17:7a. Scholars explain that this means the angels bear witness to the Qur'an recited during Fajr and shortly after. Reciting or reflecting on the Qur'an in these hours allows a believer to start the day with divine wisdom, clarity and guidance. This spiritual nourishment sets a positive tone for the rest of the day. Staying awake after Fajr also creates space for dua or supplication. The early morning is a time when prayers are more likely to be accepted, especially before sunrise. A believer who uses this time to ask Allah for guidance, forgiveness and blessings taps into a special moment of divine mercy. Many people testify that their dues made after Fajr brought unexpected ease and solutions to their problems, a clear sign of Allah's barakah. Moreover, the spiritual discipline of staying awake after Fajr builds a habit of self-control and commitment. Waking up for Fajr itself is an act of devotion, but choosing to stay awake afterwards adds another layer of dedication. It shows that a believer prioritizes Allah's guidance over personal comfort. Over time, strengthens willpower and creates a heart that is more attached to Allah than to worldly desires. There is also the benefit of starting the day with purity and barakah. The Prophet prayed for blessings in the mornings of his ummah, which means those who spend this time in worship gain special divine support throughout the day. They often find their task easier, their minds clearer, and their hearts more at peace. This is not just psychological, but a spiritual reality promised by Allah's Messenger. Lastly, staying awake after Fajr connects a believer to the legacy of the righteous. The Sahaba, Sikh companions and early Muslims valued these hours greatly. They would use them for seeking knowledge, teaching or remembering Allah. By following in their footsteps, a Muslim today aligns themselves with a timeless tradition of faith and discipline. In essence, the spiritual benefits of staying awake after Fajr go far beyond the act itself. It transforms the heart, sharpens the mind and fills the day with barakah. It is a daily opportunity to step closer to Allah and begin the day under His divine mercy. Islam is a religion of balance, and nowhere is this more visible than in the daily routine of the Prophet Muhammad. He taught his ummah not only how to worship Allah, but also how to live a life that harmonizes faith, health, family and work. Staying awake after Fajr and using that time wisely is part of building a balanced sunnah-based routine that brings both worldly success and spiritual peace. The Prophet would begin his day with Fajr prayer and remain engaged in dhikr until sunrise. After this, he would often spend time with his family, engage with the community, or begin tasks related to his responsibilities. This shows us that life after Fajr is meant to be a time of activity, not laziness. A balanced sunnah routine involves mixing acts of worship with worldly duties in a way that strengthens both body and soul. One key element of this balance is spiritual nourishment. The hours after Fajr are ideal for Qur'an recitation, dua or quiet reflection. Even spending 15-20 minutes with the Qur'an in the morning can provide deep clarity and guidance for the entire day. By prioritizing spiritual connection first, a believer ensures that the rest of the day is grounded in faith and mindfulness of Allah. Another important part of a sunnah routine is seeking halal productivity. The Prophet encouraged his companions to start their work in the morning, Many successful Muslims throughout history followed this practice. Whether it is business, study, or personal projects, beginning tasks after Fajr leads to greater efficiency and better results. The blessings of morning hours multiply efforts, allowing a believer to accomplish more in less time. At the same time, a sunnah-based routine respects the body's need for rest and balance. Islam does not demand constant activity without pause. If someone has genuine exhaustion due to late night obligations such as work, study, or family responsibilities, a short nap later in the days, such as the sunnah Qailula nap around midday, can restore energy without wasting the blessed morning hours. This maintains a healthy rhythm that avoids both laziness and burnout. A balanced routine also includes connection with others. The Prophet would use his mornings not just for worship, but also for teaching, advising, and interacting with his companions. Similarly, a believer can dedicate part of the morning to serving family, sharing knowledge, or contributing to the community. This turns personal discipline into collective benefit. Finally, such a routine nurtures inner peace and consistency. Modern life often leaves people overwhelmed by stress, irregular schedules, and lack of focus. By following the Prophet's example, starting the day with worship, filling mornings with purposeful activity, and allowing for balanced rest, a believer gains both stability and tranquility. In short, building a balanced sunnah routine after Fajr means living with harmony, prioritizing Allah, embracing productivity, caring for one's body, and serving others. This lifestyle ensures that the day is not wasted but filled with barakah, making both dunya and akhirah more meaningful and rewarding.